Hey everybody, today we are gonna make the world's greatest green chili stew. Aiden's got a fresh haircut, so it's gonna be extra swaggy today. Hey, why don't you shout out your barber?
No.
Why not?
I'm laughing.
Who's your barber?
You.
All right, so here are our ingredients.
Stew meat, potatoes, garlic, onions, chicken broth, potatoes, tomatoes, corn, green beans, and the star of the dish, green chili.
And of course, that's some New Mexico hatch green chili, not that Colorado nonsense. Okay, we just washed our hands in our automatic everything. Sink, soap dispenser, everything. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut these into some bite-sized pieces. This is the lean stew meat. And the reason why I'm cutting them into smaller pieces, bite-sized pieces, well, we will say later. So we'll be back after I get all this done cut up.
Now that my dad finishes, he's gonna wash his hands with the automatic everything.
But first, we are gonna saute some onions and garlic. Aiden's gonna dice these up a little bit more.
We chopped up the onions. Now my dad's gonna bust open the garlic and chop it.
We heated up some oil, and then we're gonna add our onions first. And then we're gonna let this go for about a minute and then add our garlic. Now we're gonna add our garlic. The reason we do the onions first is because the garlic will cook so much faster and we don't want it to burn. In about another 30 seconds to a minute, we're gonna add our stew meat. Now we're gonna add our stew meat. We're gonna reduce this to about medium-low. I wanna cook this on low so that way this is very tender. And obviously give that a little bit of some time to cook and then keep stirring it. And remember, we're keeping this on low and we're not gonna season it just yet. I'll show you why in a second. Now, while the meat is cooking, I'm gonna come and start peeling our potatoes. And since my hands are full, you might wanna get you an automatic trash can. Now we're gonna cut up our potatoes and we are gonna cut them about the same size as we did our meat. We want them bite-sized. It's important that you keep them all about the same size. That way they cook at the same rate. You don't want a bunch done right away and the bigger pieces that take much longer. Got all these cut up. Now we're gonna come check on our meat. And that's looking good. Give it another final stir. And we want all that goodness right there is gonna soak right into our potatoes. But now we need to raise our temperature to about medium-high because we are gonna fry the potatoes instead of just putting them in the boiling water. That's gonna help with the texture and they won't be all mushy because we're gonna boil this for a while. Okay, now we're gonna add our potatoes. Aiden's gonna give this a stir first. Now he's gonna hit it with some seasoning. And first he's gonna go with some salt. Some pepper. And some garlic powder. And give it up another stir.
And we'll try our meat pretty soon.
Now we're gonna let it sit for about a minute, let those potatoes fry, just so that way the edges will crisp just a little. Aiden's gonna give one of the pieces of meat a try and tell us what we need or if it's good.
You should try it first. I don't know.
Okay, I already tried it. I think we need a little bit more salt. Stir that up. Next, we're gonna add our diced tomatoes. Give this a stir. We're gonna let this cook with everything for about a good minute or so. We are doing all this in layers, and trust me, that's the trick. It is gonna be amazing if you do it this way. Next, we're adding our vegetables, and we're using the juice from these cans because it's gonna add flavor and it's gonna save us on our chicken broth. You also are gonna wanna rinse these a little bit with some water and then add that as well. Now give this all a stir, mix it all up, and we're gonna let this heat up so when we add our chicken broth, it's gonna get to a boil quicker. Now we're gonna add our chicken broth, and depending how much you wanna use, how thin you want this, use as much as you like, or if you want, because I know chicken broth is expensive, add some and then use water after this, but you should start with some chicken broth. It's gonna just level up your flavor so much. Give that a stir, see how much you need, and we'll let this heat up and then we're gonna season it. We added a little bit more chicken broth because this is gonna reduce as it simmers. Now it's time to season it. Aiden's gonna start with some salt. And some pepper. And finally some garlic powder. Now for the main ingredient, green chili. We do not have to prepare this, and by prepare it I mean add salt and garlic powder to your chili because of the seasonings we just put in here. That's still partially frozen, which is fine because we're just gonna stir it up. It's gonna break apart anyway, and we're gonna give this a stir and then we're gonna taste it. All right, Aiden's gonna give it a taste.
Salt.
Need some more salt?
Yeah.
Okay. Give that a stir.
Taste test number 2 to see if it needs more. Let's see what you say, Dad.
I think we good.
Yeah, for sure.
We're gonna bring this to a simmer and we're gonna cover it for about 45 minutes and then check our potatoes and see how far along they are, if we need to go more or not. Okay, it's been about 25 minutes. We're gonna check this. Lift your lid away so the steam doesn't burn you. Aiden wants to try this out, tell us if everything is good. Make sure and cool it off because it's hot.
That's good.
Okay, now I'm gonna try a potato to see how much further we need. I let one of the bigger potatoes cool off a little before I try this out. I say we need only about 10 to 15 minutes tops, and then we're gonna turn it off, let it cool, and then we're gonna plate it. All right, this looks like it might be done. Give it a stir, eh?
Okay. This feels like it's done.
I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna leave this uncovered to cool off for a little bit before we plate, and then we'll be back. So this is our finished product. it's good just like this. You can use a piece of bread, a tortilla,
or you could use the secret method. Cheese, and Fritos.
and now you have the world's greatest green chili Frito pie.
Later, see you next time.